Session 3 features inquiry-based teaching and learning. In Houston, Texas, Jorge Arredondo students explore Rudolfo Anaya's Bless Me Ultima and look for related themes in a mural depicting the struggles of Mexican Americans. In New York City, the students in Bo Wu's classroom read 3 works by James Baldwin. Sparked by their personal interests, the students research topics related to James Baldwin's works and collaborate to produce group websites.
And it's also really wonderful for kids to work collaboratively to determine how they can produce the best work that represents the entire group. There are many skills involved.
Okay, don't be afraid of talking out, okay, your thoughts. That's what I want you to do. The thing you definitely should not do is, every group, you should not use one person's report as the group report. That's not acceptable.
I want to show you a little bit about what I wrote in the beginning because I think we should put it as an introductory paragraph. James Baldwin has created many masterpieces, although at first they were not recognized as American classics. I think he would love to see what they think of many of his writings now, especially for The Fire Next Time.
Some people would say that his strongest writing is represented in his essays. When he does his memoirs, Notes of a Native Son and The Fire Next Time.
Yeah, like also a lot of his books have to do with racial kind of segregation and blacks and whites and civil rights struggles in the United States. So I think we should put that in. I think that's real important.
I think we should put the books and describe them.
When he's writing in his personal voice, that's the writing that's making an impact, that's making a statement. And that's why people turn to him.
What I have noticed about his writings is that at first, people were criticized him real bad for his writings, especially when he wrote Giovanni's Room, because it spoke about gays and lesbians, and you know, he was like one of the first people to address that topic. And I think we could put what other people said, but we got to put in quotation marks.
How about that
2002.
One? From Langston Hughes, you see what people are saying? Wasn't Langston Hughes one of the people that inspired James Baldwin?
Yeah.
So that's kind of hot that he wrote that.
The classes I teach are English Regents preparation classes, and the Regents refers to the standardized test we have in New York State. The English Regents requires them to synthesize information they read and respond to literature. And this is exactly what we do in class. And by going online, do research, and bring back a report, it is synthesizing information. And no matter what we do in this class, students are always reading. They're always reading and writing what they have read in different forms. And that's a good practice for a Regents writing.
Good morning, class. Today we're going to begin the lesson by sharing the journals. We're going to share the journal entry in our small groups. Last night you all read the essay and story you picked, and you have written the journal also based on the prompts I gave you. Just to help you refresh your memories, I'm going to read these prompts again. What I think are the key ideas of the story or essay.
We really should not throw away the many teaching methods that teachers use in a regular classroom. We still do read aloud. Kids take notes in their notebook while they're reading, and we still write journals. These prompts guide the students to think, to inquire, to look deeper into the text.
What don't I understand about the work? What topics or issues would I like to explore further, inspired by his story or essay? Any ideas, any interesting questions, issues that come up in your discussion, write them down. Maybe you'd like to explore further. Okay, so let's get started.
The main idea of Sony's Blue is the struggle of a young man who seems to be lost in the world. The main character, Sony, could not find the right path in his life. He became addicted to drugs of his weak faith. To bring faith back, he started to play piano.
I think that in music he found a way to express himself.
The kids are beginning to explore the role that music played in his life. It would be interesting to ask them, well, why don't you think about putting into this digital portfolio a clip that represents what James Baldwin might look like in music? So in a sense, they're exploring multiple ways of knowing.
Everything in the story reflects Sonny's addiction, his brother helping him. So everything is based on Sonny and how he overcomes a problem.
He went through that too, so I think he wrote it down. He wrote Sonny's Blue. Most of the work James Baldwin wrote is like based on his life. So I think this story reflects a lot of his life.
True.
The part that I liked the most in Sonny's Blue, you see, was the way he managed to solve his problems.
In Baldwin's work, you have the themes of alienation, of marginalization, coming of age, conflicts between father and son, mother and father.
Sonny's problems affected the whole family. Like his brother was affected by it, everybody was affected by it, including himself the most.
There's a lot of problems like in regular life.
You have all of these conflicts, and the recurring theme is what it means to be on the outside. So Baldwin can touch students, I think, in many different ways.
Sonny found that the only way to forget his problems were heroin and, doing the wrong things. But that was because there was nobody there to tell him that this was right, this was wrong. So he was like a lonely dog around the street, ate what he found, talked to the people he knew, and was influenced by all of that. So the story has a lot to relate with.
Okay, now it's time for us to put our written work together and present your understanding of James Baldwin and his works in a website. Okay? Now, first of all, website is a digital portfolio. It's only a folder. Okay? So let's come up with some ideas how we can present our understanding of James Baldwin's work. First of all, the research report you did as a group, of course, that piece can go into your website as what? An introduction to the author. And you can maybe make links to other students' websites, other groups' website, which have the reports on other aspects of James Baldwin's life. And here we go. Okay, we have a whole picture who James Baldwin is. Now remember, okay, not everybody who comes to your website has read anything written by James Baldwin, okay? So you may like to create or post something really interesting that can capture people's attention right away. So can you give me some ideas what audiences you might like to present your website to? Anyone? Yes?
Book readers.
What do you mean by book readers?
People who read on the net or people who go to the library.
All right. We have general audience, just readers. Okay, who else?
Students studying American literature in this.
English majors who actually major in American literature. Catherine?
Teachers.
Okay, so terrific. So I will be allowed to visit your website, teachers. Now, what work would you like to put on your website, okay, to share with your peers? Anyone?
I like to put the visuals of the rock pile, of maybe James Baldwin's face, and pictures of Harlem, like streets that are in Harlem, the Apollo Theater.
Okay, do you have any other ideas? What you like to present for peers? Jasmine?
A summary of the story.
Keep on going. Any more ideas?
You could put in favorite quotations.
Oh, your favorite quotation.
Glossary.
It's a great idea to have glossaries, especially for people who have trouble understanding the text, and glossaries might help. And also quotations is a great idea also. Okay. Now, how about for teachers? If the audience are teachers, what would you like to put in your website?
A research report on the Harlems of the 1930s, because that was a big point in history, and that would show you little things about Baldwin and why he writes certain things in his writings.
Any other things you will put on your website to show your teachers, to share with teachers?
artistic illustrations that show vivid imagery of Baldwin, maybe a collage or something that a teacher might understand versus an illustration that a kid can understand.
When they need to create an artistic piece, it's about critical thinking rather than just drawing. We have rich images you can find in the internet, and you can use those resources to help you create a collage to illustrate your understanding of the literature. When they go to the internet, they have that focus in their minds. They're processing the information. They're thinking critically, is this the right image for my illustration of James Baldwin's The Fire Next Time?
I think having an artistic illustration is a great idea to put on your website. Are there some other ideas, Raquel?
You might want to include an analytical essay so you can show your understanding of the essay, because people interpret things different ways, but in an analytical essay you could show how you interpret the essay in your own way.
That's terrific. So you can write different essays. Okay, one example, as Raquel said, is analytical essay to sort of show your teachers the sophisticated writing you can do. Okay, comparative essays. Okay, you can compare maybe a character from this story with another character that you have read from another literature. Okay, that would be great. Okay, so we have all these ideas here. Now, each group, you are going to decide among yourselves exactly what you are going to do. If you are good at writing essays, you might like to pick the essay assignment to do. And if you are very good at doing artistic work, do that as your contribution to your group website. In other words, okay, when you work in a group, you try to find each other's strengths and use each other's strengths, okay, to create something informative and also artistic and also academic.
We can put a visual, like make a collage with a whole bunch of pictures.
So since it's about the fire next time, why don't we put like an image of a fire or something?
You can find the cover and the back cover of books that he's done and put them all in a collage with his pictures in it.
You can also take quotes from his story, from the essay, Fire Next Time, and put them on.
Since the main idea of the story is about like how he grew up in Harlem, let's put a picture of Harlem in the background or something like that.
That's a good idea. What else?
Or we could just put a collage of a lot of different authors and artists who lived during this time, who inspired him.
In the traditional classroom, most of learning takes place in a classroom. And once they leave the classroom, normally that's it. And in an inquiry learning environment, unconsciously or consciously, they're always thinking about the questions.
We could also put a glossary, and also a historical background.
And since they are the ones who are going to decide what they're going to learn and how they're going to present what they have learned, it's a constant process. And really learning never stops, thinking never stops.